Giants. In the last video, I covered a lot of ground, from giants to watchers to dragons. I want to spend a couple videos just exploring the giants. I asked my Dragon tier patrons to vote on what kind of giants they'd like to see, and these are the first three, but I'll tackle some more in the next video. First, the Beast of Burden. In the world of dead gods, the Nephilim wield a powerful influence over regular humans. Not only their impressive physical presence, but their nefarious intelligence as well. However, in this guy's case, I imagined a scenario where a fearsome warrior giant suffered a severe head injury. This is a cruel world, and since he still has his impressive warrior physique and is able to follow simple commands, he's put to work in a regional king's fields. No rest for the wicked. He wears a harness vest that attaches to a heavy plow. It also allows a rider to sit behind him to lead him around. He's guided by ropes attached to a large nose ring. I also gave him some large jade earplugs, a piece of decoration from his previous life as a warrior. I toyed with the idea of giving him blinders, then swapped them out for some large horns reminiscent of a bull or a mammoth, but I decided to remove any adornment on his head in order to keep that wound visible. His handlers include large metal spikes in his leg wraps. This is a passive defense against the kinds of predators that like to hide in long grass. I gave his rider an oversized grass hat that not only covers himself, but also provides the giant with some relief. I liked it, so I gave the other humans large grass hats too. So here's the Beast of Burden. Next up, the Herdsman. In a previous video, I did some early exploration of shepherds. For the Herdsman, I wanted to explore a different mini-narrative, this time involving mammoths. I imagined that in this guy's case, he's living in exile because he committed a crime that even the other giants couldn't abide. Now he tends to his mammoths, dreaming day and night of taking his revenge. First off, I gave him a thinner build, simply because I like the image of him striding across the plains with his herd. I gave him a vagabond hairstyle that covers his eyes, making him look disheveled and reckless. To add to this devil-may-care attitude, I gave him a large mammoth skin cloak. He kept much of his jewelry from his cushy pre-exile life. On his hip, he carries a mammoth tusk weapon. It's not pictured here, but I imagine the tusk is simply the sheath and there's a more conventional metal blade within. To visually connect him with the animals he depends on, I gave him his own little tusks, copper piercings through his lower lip. For the mammoth, I also gave it some earrings to act as a form of branding, as well as some deadly blades fixed to its tusks. Possibly overkill, since those tusks are already deadly, but think of it like adding a bayonet to a rifle. Or is it like adding a knife to a knife? Ad time. Looking around these days, it seems pretty clear that it's time for us to start telling our own stories. No one else is coming to tell them. If you have a story that you're dying to tell, maybe now is the time to start. Put together that reference folder. Write that list of potential character names. Make that map. Design that logo. Whatever it is, why not take the first step? And if there are fledgling stories out there that mean something to you, or storytellers that you believe in, they need your support. If Dead Gods is becoming something you'd like to see grow, you can blow oxygen on the coals by liking and commenting on the videos, subscribing on Patreon for as little as $3, buying a copy of my previous story, Tellurian, or my personal art book. By the way, because of all of you, my YouTube channel has already passed 10,000 subscribers. A huge thank you to those who have already supported this project in a multitude of ways, and a particular thank you to my Dragon tier patrons, who get to vote on aspects of Dead Gods and get their names in the videos. Finally, the noblewoman. The previous two giants had fallen on harder times. I wanted to draw at least one Nephilim in ascendancy. In this case, a noble being carried on a palanquin. Pretty early on, I felt like I was being too conservative with scale, so I almost doubled her. I think it works better, because it's more immediately obvious that she's a different thing than her servants. For her adornments, I wanted to keep things relatively simple, but bold. She wears a simple wrap dress that attaches to a heavy bronze ring. You can barely call that a necklace. Most of her jewelry is bulky for a few reasons. I think the big, simple shapes can be used to imply technical mastery that's still relatively new. Like, it's amazing they can make this stuff, but it's not incredibly complex at this point. They also work because possessing this much metal is a sign of wealth. I also think it's a good visual reminder of their physicality. These giants aren't just big, they're strong. Wearing the equivalent of exercise weights around is another form of intimidation. For the headwear, she shaved the front of her head, and the rest of her hair is connected to her headdress, which has an abstracted horn design. For her servants, I was trying to think of a costume design that could unify them. In the world of dead gods, the Watchers have taught people to worship many things that shouldn't be worshipped. One example, there are ancient ruins in Turkey that appear to have been used to worship Sirius, the dog constellation. Using that as an early visual foothold, I decided that this noblewoman would be a Sirius worshipper, and her servants would all wear dog masks in tribute. At the last minute, I decided to give her some tattoos. The main element is a serpent that wraps around her neck, an arm, a leg. She also has some fang symbols on her face, as well as an eye on her forehead, and some blasphemies included in some of the in-between spaces. So there we have it. 3 different takes on the giants of dead gods. These were fun to make, and there's a few more that my Dragon Tier patrons voted on that I'm very excited to draw. So expect that in the next video. The content is starting to stack up, so I wanted to get another 30,000 foot view. We've already come a long way. Looking at everything together like this is a great way to get your bearings. There's still so much ground to cover. I hope you'll join me for the next one.